Welcome to Episode 7, Part 1 of Ctrl Delete and Heal. With our host, Chef V.L. Henry, we open the first chapter of this powerful 4-part series. Balenciaga and vulnerable is what she carries. Today, we sit with the extraordinary Chef Yolonda Bey, a woman whose brilliance, grace, and truth remind us that what we carry is often far deeper than what the world sees. Join us as we control the narrative, delete the stigma, and heal our minds together.
And welcome to Ctrl Delete and Heal. I'm your host, V.L. Henry, and today we're continuing our conversation with Episode 7, Balenciaga and Vulnerable is What She Carries. This series was created to give voice to the unspoken, to explore the weight we carry as women, leaders, and healers in the culinary world and in the cultural world. Each guest brings a truth that is deeply personal yet universal. Moments of resilience, reflection, and rebirth. Today's conversation is being recorded. It's in a safe, private space, so there's no wrong words, there's only stories, feelings, and freedom. We're going to move gently through themes and identity and purpose and healing. And I invite you, Chef, to speak from your heart. But before we get started, take a deep breath, because this is your story. Together, we're controlling the narrative, we're deleting the stigma, and healing our mind. So let's begin. Before we get started, I want to read you something. Chef Yolonda Bey, a true force in culinary education at ITC in Syracuse. She's not just teaching students to cook. She is building confidence, resilience, and passionate for excellence. That was written by Chef Eric Rose for the Syracuse Women magazine. So, Chef Yolonda Bey, let me tell you a little bit about Chef. She is professionally trained chef, culinary arts educator from Syracuse, New York, with experience in esteemed established such as Compass Group, Welch Allen Lodge, and Turning Stone Resort Casino. She brings both the skills, the soul to her work, passionate about sharing the art of cooking. Oh, that's right down my alley. Yolonda taught culinary arts in Syracuse City School District for over a decade. In addition, she has led culinary workshops across central New York, now teaches culinary arts courses at Syracuse University Falk College of Sports Human Dynamics. Did I get that right? Okay.
Yes, you did.
I'm trying to keep up with you. Her approach in teaching is rooted in creativity, professionalism, and the heart of encouraging students. This part, it makes me want to cry, to see every mistake as meaningful part of a learning journey. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the one and only Chef Yolonda Bey.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it is a pleasure. We're going to get started. You ready?
Okay. Sounds good.
Now, before we get started, I'll say this. I am a big Alice Walker fan. And one of her lines is, "In search of my mother's garden, I found my own." And I say that with you. Okay?
Wow.
So we're going to start with number one. How was your connection how has your connection to food shaped your identity, your creativity, and your purpose?
Wow. Okay. So that's a very thought-provoking question, because it requires you to do a lot of introspection on my journey thus far. And so for me, my earliest memories that are just directly related to food, or just my memories with my family, was my father fixing us pancakes while we would all be in the living room watching Fat Albert. It was helping my mom, bake a cake, and the handheld mixers with the little beaters, with the frosting on it. Me and my sister, I have a twin sister, so she would take one, I would take the other, and we would be in our own little world. But it was those moments, but more importantly, Chef Henry, it was what those moments represented, and it was kind of that feeling of safety, family, love. And so that it stuck with me, you know. So it was just something that I carried, and it sort of shaped my identity, you know, around food and what it means. Um, and then just sort of wove a path that led me to where I am right now. So it was what that representation was, and then taking that and really finding my purpose with that, which led me in the education space. So that's in a nutshell kind of how it shaped me. And then of course the creativity came along during my years in the business, in the industry. You know, how can I take it, you know, not even in the aspect of food, but just how can I take this and create my own space, my own lane, you know? And so, yeah, it just ultimately led to me, you know, being in education that I'm really enjoying. But yeah, I would have to say it really started, that connection started in my younger years. I started cooking at 9 years old. So,
Wow,
you know, yeah.
it's beautiful. I can almost visualize the pancakes, Fat Albert.
Yes.
I'm right there.
Yes.
Now, when you think about vulnerability, what does it look
Mm.
like for you? Like inside and outside the kitchen, what does that look like?
Wow. So, wow, a lot of spaces and times where I've had to really reflect on that. So vulnerability, being vulnerable, to me, what that looks like is allowing myself to be open to feedback, constructive feedback. Um, but it's also understanding that I have to have that constructive feedback, those accountability talks, you know, those times where I'm going to have to stop and reset, um, to grow. That's really the only way that that happens. One's evolution, it can't really happen without vulnerability, right? So
That's right.
for me, it's allowing myself those spaces and those times and those trusted people around me to be able to share what I'm going through. Okay, where do the corrections need to happen? But it's just really allowing myself to be open to that, you know, and grow from that. That's truly what my journeys has been this so far. And that's not even that just not only applies in the kitchen, but you know, how in life, you know. So
Right.
it's opening yourself up to, you know, what that looks like, and can you correct it, you know, can you get out of your head, can you get out of your own way and make those corrections when needed. But certainly in the kitchen space it can be very intense, in the industry period, just as an African American woman. So it's really seeking out those
Mm,
people, those safe spaces, and just allowing that vulnerability to happen so that you can grow, because that's what it's really about. This is evolution.
that's probably one of the biggest reasons why I picked you because to do the things, the accomplishments, and the processes that you have in place, that's phenomenal in this industry. Even in 2025, an African American woman, you figure executive chefs, we represent 7%, if that.
Yeah,
So,
right, right.
uh, excellent. So, as a woman balancing, you know, culture, business, community, self care, what pressures have you learned to carry or release?
Oh, so you know what? So at age 48, for me, it's all about releasing. I don't carry anything. You know, carrying things, you know, that brings the stress, the anxiety,
Mm,
you know, all of those things that don't serve us well, you know, in terms of our health. Um, for me, and it's just for me realizing I can't be everything to everybody, you know. Um, I will help where I can. But it's not overextending myself anymore. And to be very transparent, that is something that I've had to learn in recent years, very recently. So just to make the impact where I can with who I can, um, but just not conforming to meet others' expectations. It's really carving out my own space, right? And then building my legacy in that space. But it is a lot of just taking care of the mental, not over delivering, when I know I can't, all the things that I used to do in those early years and just burn myself out. So for me, yeah, it is definitely, I'm in the era of releasing. I don't carry because, that can be very destructive in so many ways. And we don't realize it because we're busy trying to climb the ladder and achieve this and get to this point and that point. And you're there, but then mentally you're drained. Your health is not good, emotionally, mentally, physically, all the things. So it's really handling what you can do within the capacity that you're able to do it.
Wow. Yeah, because we're Generation X, and I don't know, I don't want to speak for you. I know that the Generation X, we were came for, you're not hurt. Come on, let's
Yes,
do it. Let's go to school. Blah, 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 blah. No time
exactly.
for healing
Uh-huh.
because
Yes, the latch key,
yeah,
the latch key children. Yes.
and our parents were like the quiet generation where they didn't speak anything, where
Yeah.
they kind of put their head down and kept going. So
Right.
that is
Yeah.
excellent. So, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so how has the culinary world challenged your mental, emotional wellness, and how have you healed through it? Like, what are some of the things you do?
So yeah, I guess that kind of ties into what we just talked about.
Right.
So um yeah, again, this industry, it can be intense. So I mean, I know, I just reflecting on my earlier years, the long hours,
Mm,
just again, not taking care of myself, you're the hustle and bustle, you're meeting the deadlines, there's these very intense, high paced, fast paced working environments. And then just the end of the day, after I put in the day's work, I'm just completely depleted. I'm just like, what, what's going on? But the funny part is when I transitioned into education, it was a different sort of challenge. Because you're now responsible for shaping and guiding these young lives, and the mental and emotional toll that can take. And I remember like literally leaving my classroom some days and just being in tears, like, what am I doing? Am I cut out for this? Can I really do this? Because there's so much that comes with that. I'm teaching in the Syracuse City School District. Brilliant minds, but with that, they come with so much other things. You're not just teaching them how to cook. You're truly shaping their lives in so many other ways. And so the challenge for me was always, am I serving them, in the way that I'm hoping this outcome will lead to their success. So it was always sort of questioning myself, but I had to just take a step back and just like, okay, you can do this. You're showing up for them every day. So, you know what I mean? They're seeing the impact. You can do this. And so with that, just going through that part of it, that's really where the healing comes from. It's just that, okay, you're seeing the little steps, you're seeing their progress, you're seeing yourself in different spaces. And so for me, just going on the journey along was the healing part of it.
just keep
Yeah.
showing up, right, Chef?
Yeah, just exactly. Just keep showing up.
That's beautiful. If food is love, right? If we would say that food is
Oh
love,
boy.
right?
Uh-huh.
What dish best represents your resilience and why?
So gumbo. Gumbo is one of my favorite dishes to make, right? Um, is every Super Bowl. That's what we're having. Um, I picked that dish because if you think about when it comes, not just the history alone with gumbo, for one thing, but um, there's layers, it's
Mm,
complexity, it requires the patience. Each ingredient, it has a purpose, you're building layers of flavor with each step. And so, listen, that roux, you know, you might burn that. You have to start all
Oh,
over, start from scratch, go back to base one. So I say all that to say that's kind of been the journey, right? It's been the different experiences, the lessons, the taking the steps, having to start over and regroup, just all those complexities that I've experienced, and then just to get me where I am. You know, you go through all those steps with the gumbo, but it comes out this beautiful, hearty dish, you know. And so
yes.
for me, it's all those experiences and my own layers of complexity and things that I've had to take on this journey with me, and has truly shaped where I am, and where I'm still headed, right? Because it's constant evolution. It's constantly going. So, you know, it's those things have led me to
Intermission message. Thank you for watching part 1. Stay tuned. Our journey continues. The second part of part 1's premiere of episode 7 is now ready and waiting for you on YouTube. Watch the second part 1 with Chef Bey as we go deeper, grow stronger, and continue to. Together, we will control the narrative, eliminate the stigma, and heal our minds.